Hey guys, Lee and Michelle, it is March 28th, 2017. We want to bring you some good news. A lot of you send us links to videos and we look at them, or we try to. We get literally like hundreds from you almost a day.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. But I did tell you that if you send us emails specifically and tell us why this is important to you, we will try to, if we can, cover it. And I really like this one from a YouTube viewer. If you want to find him, it's MarvinC999. You'll see his handle. He leaves a lot of good comments. He says, "Hello ladies, if you haven't seen it yet, this brief clip of Nigel talking to an ex-Muslim guy on LBC about the nature of Islam is possibly well worth the sharing with your viewers. In my experience, those who do find the courage to convert, especially to Christianity, are some of the most level-headed and clear-sighted people on the planet. No exaggeration, I have a huge admiration for them. If our bloody governments would listen to them rather than the imams and the Islamic scholars. The greatest victims of Islam are Muslims. All 1.6 billion of them. Just a thought. Anyway, God bless Martin." So we want to bring you. He also gave us another article here.
Thousands of Muslims are turning away from their religion and embracing Christianity amid ongoing violence in the Middle East. I'm very excited about this. Churches across Europe and the Middle East have reported a rise in attendance, mostly coming from new Muslims moving into the area. They have already seen thousands of Muslim converts, and some are expecting to see millions turn to Christianity over the coming years. So when you see, I'm going to do a depressing segment in a minute about the left's new religion. This was actually on AOL, okay? And AOL put this together, news that said the left's new religion in a positive spin is Islam, and how Islam is going to spread through the entire world. Now, here's the thing. You cannot talk to Muslims and reason with them in their minds.
The only way you're going to convert a Muslim or they're going to change is through the power, the real deal, of God and Jesus Christ.
You might convert a few. I should accept that, but not, I mean, if you really want to see millions of people convert from, remember, most Muslim countries were actually Christian countries, overwhelmed and overtaken. So let's go straight to Nigel. This is very exciting.
Ahmed, good evening. Are we divided?
Definitely we are divided. Let me just start by saying I'm an ex-Muslim. I was born in a moderate Islamic family.
Yes. And
the root here is not Muslims. Muslims are, as one of your ex-guests said, are like me and you, normal people. The problem is Islam itself. Islam traditionally in history is a very violent ideology. The problem we are making here is we are subconsciously not aware of law-abiding matters and our religious background, and this is where the mistakes happen. I was interested in one of your ex-speakers, what he said, the brainwashed people. Actually, the brainwashed people are what me and you call the good Muslims. The people who bomb and do all these atrocities are actually the people who are following the teaching of Islam. Let me just explain something to you. 99% of people have never read the Quran, don't understand it. In fact, more than 60% of Muslims are not Arabic speaking. There are verses in the Quran itself which say, fight the non-believers. It does not say give them flowers, speak to them. It says fight the non-believers.
But am I not right? I did ask an earlier caller this, but he clearly, he hadn't studied the Quran. Am I not right in saying that it's the latter parts of the Quran that contain this stuff?
Precisely. When Muhammad was in Mecca, he was a weak person. He did not have the power to influence anything. Eventually, when he moved to Medina, he managed to get whatever army he managed to do, and he started to conquer Arabia. And with that progress, he sort of invaded all of North Africa, Persia.
Well, that is Ahmed. That is exactly my understanding of it. Quick question for you: does, in your opinion, Islam need its own reformation?
No, it needs eradication.
Eradication.
It's as long as here's my question to the politician: how many fatalities? I just need a number. How many fatalities need to happen before somebody face the truth and just say, right, okay, we need to face this cancer?
That is an absolutely fascinating phone call. Very strong. I'm sure it's going to provoke an absolute tide of response.
So that's cancel here. That's that. And I found it so compelling. So thank you, Marvin, for sending that to us, because he said, it's a very fair question. Does Islam need ratification? Not ratification.
Reformation.
Thank you, Reformation. I was thinking ratifying something. But he said no. It needs to be eradicated. Like, it has to go like a cancer. Okay. And I found a couple of points that he said, which were really.
Did you see even Nigel's Islamic apologist? You have to be. If you're going to have a radio show, if you're going to be on television,
yeah,
you have to be a Muslim apologist. And we're kind of not.
Yeah.
Because we're not on, like, big TV.
But I did appreciate what he said was that a very large amount of Muslims are, what they would refer to as the good Muslims. What those of you that say, listen, I know Muslims,
right?
They're good people, whatever. They've not even read the Quran.
They said 50% of Muslims don't even speak Arabic.
So they wouldn't be able to.
So they only are reading translations. They don't read the Quran, as what our friend in France said. I'm around Muslims every day. Right, but it's like the Christians, people in America call them Christians, but they don't read the Bible, they don't know what it is.
He said, if you couldn't understand what he said, the problem is Islam.
Right.
That's the problem. And that's the problem that Leah and I have had. But what he was saying is,
people who are really into their faith.
How many deaths are going to happen? How many fatalities will have to happen before you wake up and say enough is enough? So as long as Muslims are, protecting and hiding and covering up the evil of Islam, then you can't let any of them in. So back to the article.
This was the Voice of Martyrs in Canada was saying that despite millions of people, mainly Muslims, fleeing the war-torn Middle East due to violence and persecutions, there are scores turning to Christianity. There are thousands upon thousands coming to Christ. We are in regular contact with our FM stations in Iraq, and we have talked with many people who have family in the Middle East. I'm so excited because literally, you guys, Islam is a cult of death, and it is a cult of violence, and it perpetuates slavery to women and to children, and Christianity sets you free. Of course, throughout the history, people have called themselves Christians, but here's the difference. True people who are true to Islam, they believe in throwing Jews, or they believe in killing Jews, they believe in killing infidels, they throw gays off of buildings.
Right.
Those who are true to Christianity believe in justice and kindness and love and virtue, and that's the difference. Okay,
I want to read what Marvin said. He said, we should support these courageous folk in any way that we can, especially giving the appalling apathy on the part of the governments of the once Christian West to speak out against the atrocities being visited upon the Christians throughout the world every single day. What with godless globalism and all its ugly manifestations on one side, and Islam, a true cult of darkness, on the other, it's no surprise that the shadows are gathering in the Middle East. We must therefore do all we can to help the light grow in a practical way, not by lighting candles for the world's press, writing virtue signaling tweets, and generally spouting sententious rubbish about an idealized Islam which simply doesn't exist and never has. Once at least, Muhammad left Mecca to start his profitable career of slaughter, robbery, rape, and pillage.
Sounds like our Federal Reserve.
So, exactly. So, it is important that we get behind what is happening over there and to get excited about it.
Some of our Middle Eastern broadcasters have shared testimonies about many turning to Christ with us, which they hear directly from listeners when visiting there.
Wow.
In Iran, this is really neat, Christian churches are attacked with impunity and shut down by the nation's Islamic government. The mission group stated that the number of Christians in the country have been growing despite the problems back home. He says church leaders believe that millions can be added to the church in the next few years, since such is the spiritual hunger that exists and the disillusionment with the Islamic regime.
Which I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this. I can't even tell you how excited Christians. I mean, of the beheaded. When we saw all those Christians beheaded.
Yeah.
Those Coptic Christians by the Muslims on the beach, right?
Yeah, that was several years ago.
Some of the family members who were affected, they met with, they were...
I want to say they were on the Blaze or something.
They met with some other Muslims. They said, don't you hate us?
Right.
Says, no, Jesus teaches me to still love you.
Yeah.
And I'm just amazed by that. And they were amazed by that.
Right. And they were very joyful because they're not joyful that they had lost their loved ones, but joyful that it really was converting other Muslims to Jesus Christ.
And here's the difference. These Muslim terrorists are taught that if you go and kill people, you go to heaven as a martyr. Whereas Christianity is like the opposite, whereas they rejoice that they were able to suffer for the cause of Christ and go to heaven
as a martyr
for living their belief, living love.
Right.
If we're going to change Islam and the Middle East with Muslims, it's going to be through Jesus Christ. It's going to be through the gospel. There is a change that happens in your heart when you start to believe in Jesus.
Right.
It just happens. It's metaphysical. Your heart changes. Your life changes.
All right, you guys. So that wraps up this Get Excited. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications and find us on Facebook and Twitter. Hey guys, God bless.
I was cold all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid, but you call